another episode of Value Vinyl with Mark. I am your host, Mark Lindsay. If you haven't already, please take a moment, hit that subscribe button below. It would mean the world to me. I do enjoy making these videos because I love sharing what I'm able to find out in the wild when it comes to vinyl records. And, this is like a new collection for me. I've only been collecting for a little bit less than a year. And I don't really make these videos to brag this is just to share, because if you are a music fan, specifically a vinyl music fan, there are some deals out there, whether it's a flea market, antique shops, record stores, and the bargain bins. There are ways to get great records without spending an arm and a leg. And I'm going to share with you a wonderful haul that I had this weekend. It's been a while since I've had any luck at Goodwill or thrift stores, but I hit Liberty Thrift up in Montgomeryville this past Saturday, and I got 3 records that were off the hook. Number 1, The Other Side of Abbey Road by George Benson. This is a cover album of the Beatles' Abbey Road, done by George Benson, and it is amazing to listen. I mean, it's the whole album. Obviously, it's all covered. Let's see if we can get a good shot there. But it's an amazing album front to back. I had initially purchased this with the idea that maybe, there's a market for this. Maybe this has some value to it. And I was surprised to find out that there was. But after listening to it, there's no way that I could part with it. This was $1 at Liberty Thrift Store. And we were hitting the ground running at the Liberty Thrift. I had some luck finding the Allman Brothers and Sisters. Now, I had this album at another thrift store probably about 6 months ago, but it didn't have the cover, and it had a couple scratches on it. This album is in very good condition, and the outer sleeve is in wonderful condition as well. Of course, this has one of my favorite Allman Brothers Band songs, which is Jessica. I know all the words to that song. But just a great album. And again, this was another album that was $1 at Liberty Thrift. We hit a flea market. I don't even know where it was called. I think it was Fancy's Flea Market. And it was a drive. I think it was in Bally, PA? Bally, PA. My wife's over on the side. Bally, PA. It was an hour and a half drive. But again, a lot of these places, they have flea markets or I guess they're shops, antique shops that kind of rent spaces for X amount of dollars a month. And this guy had an entire half of his store devoted to records. And I got some great albums there. We're going to start off with Hojo, Howard Jones, and Action Replay. The Action Replay basically has the song of No One Is to Blame that Howard Jones is probably most famous for. But the album Dream into Action did not have the radio edit on the album. So any version that you've heard on the radio or Sirius or what have you has been this version on this album. So basically it's just a bunch of remixes and longer versions of some of the songs from the Dream into Action. This was $4. The price tag's still on there. $4 in the Fancy's Flea Market. And then he had a nice deal where if you spent $50 or more, you would get like 5 or 10% off, something like that. So I think I spent $50 total. My wife found this for me. This was also $4. Yes, 90125. Of course, this was the big album of Yes from the 80s with their 2 most successful songs from the 80s. Owner of a Lonely Heart and It Can Happen to You, It Can Happen to Me, and anyone else. But this album here, $4 at Fancy's Flea Market. I told you on my last video, or one of my last videos where I got Billy Joel glass houses, that I was only the bridge away. Well, I got the bridge. So Billy Joel, The Bridge, this was also $4. Album's in great shape. The outer jacket's a little beat up, but it's to be expected from an album this from 1986. Of course, the songs on here that were popular were This Is the Time, A Matter of Trust. This Is the Time has a special place in my heart. as that was the theme song when the Phillies were winning the 1993 pennant against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and that was the song in the background. Also at Fences was Heart Heart. One of my first videos, I shared a 45 vinyl of Heart's single, which was, I think, it was Never or What About Love. One of those songs was the single that I had. Well, this is the album it was on. So if Looks Could Kill You, What About Love, and Never. These Dreams. So they were the first 4 songs on the album. They were the biggest 4 songs on this album as well. Another $4 record from Fences was Survivor Vital Signs. The 2 big songs from here were High on You and The Search Is Over, which was the ballad of the album. The Search Is Over, that was right before your eyes. Steve Perry and Street Talk. This was a $5 album. I would say that the album is probably in near mint condition. The outer jacket as well, just in amazing condition. This was Steve Perry's solo album as he took a break from Journey. Oh Sherry, the big song from here, but also Foolish Heart was a great song as well. Foolish Heart had the video where at the end of the video he was on a piano and the rest of Journey come on stage and they say, "Are you ready to hit the studio, record another album?" And then of course 1987's something radio something was Journey's 87 album. I'm completing my Jets collection with the Jets debut album, 1985. Crush on You and You Got It All were the big songs on this album, but I had their other one that came out, I think, in 87 or 88. So this was their debut album. Had some luck with New Wave. How about Falco, Rock Me Amadeus, and Vienna Calling? There were the 2 big songs on here, but this guy, man, he was ahead of his time. We lost him, I think, in 85 or 86, but he was ahead of his time with his music, and this album is absolutely amazing. We were knee-deep into Hoopla, Starship, and of course, the album that changed that band forever, when they went all pop. You know, they were rock pop for a while there from like 1980 to like about 85. And this was the album that just said, you know what, we're just going to own it and we're just going to produce commercially successful cheese. And We Built This City and Sarah were the 2 monster hits on this album. And just a fun album to listen to. Knee deep into Hoopla. Mahoney plays the Mamba. I don't know what the word is, but I always say Mahoney. He plays the Mamba, and he's listening to the radio. We had some luck in the Quakertown bargain bin, and I say that because I guess hours before we got there on Saturday, we were told by Ralph, the owner, that a bunch of guys came down from New York and raided him full of his $2. Got all the good stuff, he said. And I guess they were in the market to buy it and then resell it. So pickings were slim, but I did get some good stuff. Alan Parsons' iRobot. This was an album Christine found. I had seen this a few times before. I always passed on it, but this has one of my favorite Alan Parsons songs, I Wouldn't Want to Be Like You. Jay Giles Band and Love Stinks. These are all $2, by the way. Every time I hear Love Stinks, I think of The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler. This was some good stuff. When Ralph had told us that there were some people who came up, he kind of threw some records that he thought I would like, so I had to hop on those. How about The Beatles and Love Songs? This is a double LP. Actually, yeah, double LP. All of their quote-unquote slow songs, the love songs. So just a great album. Some of the songs Yesterday, I'll Follow the Sun, In My Life, Something, and I Love Her, Michelle, Every Little Thing, She's Leaving Home, This Boy Norwegian Wood, and P.S. I Love You. So this is just among all the hits on this album. Just a great album if you're into the slower stuff from the Beatles. I am so happy with this next record. This was probably my favorite record that I got in the $2 bin this week because it completes my studio collection of the Led Zeppelin albums. I have them all now. I never thought I'd get Coda, but I got that last week. And now I have Presence. So just a final piece to my collection, Led Zeppelin and Presence. This was fun. I found this. Actually, I screamed this to Christine when I found it because we saw ELO the last 2 times that they came to Philadelphia. And the last time they came, they played one of my favorite funky songs of theirs called Last Train to London. If you were on my Facebook page over the weekend, you saw me rocking out to it. But ELO and Discovery, Last Train to London, and Don't Bring Me Down were the 2 bigger songs on here. I don't even know if Last Train to London was a big hit for ELO, but man, it's good. It's good stuff. 80s New Wave was still alive and kicking. Culture Club, Color by the Numbers. Of course, the 2 big songs on this album were Karma Chameleon and Church of the Poison Mind. Both songs set up side A and side B. And then there's a bunch of stuff in the middle that's neither great nor horrible, just there. It's Culture Club. Boy George has said in interviews recently that was an album that was made when they were all on drugs, and just the drop off from the what was it, the Kissing to Be Clever, the drop off from Kissing to Be Clever to Color by Numbers was pretty steep. Members of Duran Duran took a break and formed Arcadia, and this is So Red the Rose. The number 1 hit for them on this album was Election Day. Actually, I think it was number 5 was the highest it got. But Arcadia and So Red the Rose. Now, this was found at MaTones. So we went to Bally, PA. We went to Quakertown, and we came down and hit MaTones before they closed up shop. So Arcadia. This was 99 cents in MaTones value bin. I'm going to hit you with a couple 99 cents. This was not 99 cents. This was $9.99. $10. Made the cut. Stray Cats, Build for Speed. Rock This Town. Stray Cat Strut and Runaway Boys were the big songs on this album. But it made the cut at $10. Here was one for $3.99. The Call and Modern Romans. Now the big song from this was the first song on the album, which is The Walls Came Down. I don't know if I can explain what kind of music The Call is. They are obviously a new wave band. They were big in the UK. They actually sang the song, they're most known for the song, what the hell's it called? From The Lost Boys, where the saxophone dude's playing, the shirtless saxophone guy. I Still Believe. I Still Believe. They actually sang I Still Believe, and that was covered in The Lost Boys. So that's the song that they're most famous for. But I'm listening to this album, and they kind of they sound like a mix between, not musically, but lyrically, between Pink Floyd and The Clash. Like it's weird. Like Pink Floyd, obviously known for their, deep music, but the lyrics of Pink Floyd with the music of The Clash, and I think that you have The Call. And if that's sacrilegious for me to say that, then leave a comment below. I'd love to discuss it with you. 99-cent bin at MaTones, and Tina Turner and Private Dancer. This was a phenomenal album. I'm glad this was in the 99-cent bin because somebody probably overlooked it, didn't even think of grabbing it. I grabbed it. Listen to this track list. I'm going to name the hits. What's Love Got to Do with It? I Can't Stand the Rain, cover song. Another cover song, Better Be Good to Me. Let's Stay Together by Al Green. And of course, Private Dancer. So a great album, 99 cents. And the cover's in great shape. The album plays flawlessly. This was a $3.99 grab. at MaTones, and that was the Human League Fascination. This is a mini LP, only about 5 or 6 songs on it. The big songs, of course, are Feeling Fascination, Mirror Man, which is a good song, and, of course, Fascination. I said that already. We're going to end today's Value Vinyl with Mark, as Christine's laughing in the background, with Hall & Oates, H2O. This album features probably their most popular hit. I don't know. They have a lot of good songs. But Maneater, this came out in 1982, and Maneater is the big, huge song on this album. So as you can see, I did very good this weekend. I spent a little bit of money, so we're going to take a little bit of a break probably from buying some records. But hey, leave a comment below. Which one did you like? Which one did you not like? Does The Call remind you of Pink Floyd and The Clash? I don't know. Am I smoking? I don't know. But before we head out, we have some words of advice from our good friend Michael Conrad.
That's it. Let's roll. Hey,
let's be careful out there.
That's right. Let's be careful out there. Thanks again for watching, and please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It would mean so much. Until next time, I'll see you spinning the black circle. Take care, everybody.